Among these people, healing was done by breath and touch. They blew upon the sick, laid hands on them, and believed illness could be drawn out and cast away. When Cabeza de Vaca and his companions refused, insisting they knew nothing about medicine, the natives simply stopped feeding them until they agreed. They finally decided to give it a shot, and De Vaca tells a remarkable story. Our method was to bless the sick, breathing upon them and praying to God our Lord that He would give health and influence them to make us some good return. In His clemency, He willed that all those who we supplicated should tell the others that they were sound and in health, directly after we made the sign of the blessed cross over them. For this, the Indians treated us kindly. They deprived themselves of food that they might give to us. According to De Vaca, their prayers had worked, and word started to spread among the natives. Even with their growing popularity, starvation still shadowed them. Cabeza de Vaca sometimes went 3 days without food, surviving only on prayer. The tribal people, the Capoques and the Hans, were enduring the same misery. There just wasn't much food to go around. After Dorantes and Castillo rejoined the others, only 14 Spaniards remained alive, but many of them would soon die. Cabeza de Vaca, gravely ill and stranded on the mainland, could not join them. Soon he found himself enslaved by islanders, forced to dig roots in icy waters until his fingers bled. When he could bear this life no longer, he escaped to the mainland tribes, surviving as a wandering trader. Carrying seashells and beads, he bartered along the coast for food and shelter. His reputation grew, and every village welcomed him for his goods. But for nearly 6 years he lived impoverished among them, always seeking a way to rejoin his countrymen. But at last, one day, he would encounter another Spaniard. It was Lope de Oviedo from the island. Most were dead, murdered, or starved. Only 3 still lived: Castillo, Dorantes, and the Moor, Estevanico. Broken by fear and exhaustion, the 2 men went their separate ways, trying to survive. Cabeza de Vaca pressed on alone into the wilderness. But 2 days later, he would run into these 3 survivors. The tribes who held them had come inland to gather walnuts, their only food for months. A native who pitied Cabeza de Vaca helped him slip away through the woods to meet them. When Dorantes saw him, he was struck speechless. They had long believed Cabeza de Vaca was dead. The reunion was overwhelming, 4 broken men thanking God through tears for being alive. They decided to wait 6 months until the tribes moved south for the prickly pear season. This fruit, blood red and sweet, was the only food for 3 months every year. In the meantime, Cabeza de Vaca, struggling to hang on, became a slave again, occasionally meeting with the Spaniards when their masters would cross paths. He learned the full horror of what had become of Narvaez's lost boat. Stories carried mouth to mouth across the coast. A man named Esquivel lasted the longest, surviving by cutting and drying the flesh of a dead Spaniard until natives found and enslaved him. Later, he would be killed after a woman dreamed he would harm her son, a dream that sealed his fate. 3 times Cabeza de Vaca would try to flee his masters, and 3 times they hunted him down, trying to kill him. Each time, by what he called the mercy of God, he survived. When the season of prickly pears returned, they reunited, Dorantes, Castillo, Estevanico, and Vaca, all in the same region, where they planned their escape once more. But their masters would move again before they could flee, driving the groups apart. Vaca told his companions he would wait among the prickly pear groves until the full moon, then go alone if they did not come. When the time came, Dorantes and Estevanico appeared, saying they knew Castillo was nearby. They gorged themselves on the juice of the prickly pears, their thirst never fully quenched. And on the 2nd day after moving camp, the 4 survivors entrusted themselves to God and fled at last. By evening, they saw smoke rising in the distance and followed it, finding a friendly native who led them to his people. A new tribe who spoke a different tongue, but they knew of the healers and their miracles. They welcomed the strangers joyfully, bringing them prickly pears and food. That night, for the first time in years, the wanderers slept in peace. The natives soon came to Castillo and De Vaca, complaining of terrible head pain. He asked for them to heal him. After he made over them the sign of the cross and commended them to God, they instantly said that all the pain had left, and went to their houses, bringing us prickly pears, with a piece of venison, a thing to us little known. As the report of Castillo's performances spread, many came to us that night sick, that we should heal them, each bringing a piece of venison, until the quantity became so great we knew not where to dispose of it. We gave many thanks to God, for every day went on increasing His compassions and His gifts. After the sick were attended to, they began to dance and sing, making themselves festive until sunrise. And because of our arrival, the rejoice continued for 3 days. At sunrise, more natives arrived, carrying 5 people, crippled and near death. Castillo prayed over them, making the sign of the cross, and by morning time, all rose up, healed and strong. The miracles filled the tribe with awe, and for the Spaniards, it rekindled faith that God had not abandoned them. Word of these cures spread rapidly. Tribes from every direction came seeking healing. When summoned to treat another group, Cabeza de Vaca went himself. One man appeared already dead, eyes rolled back, pulse gone. Vaca prayed and breathed over him, and by the next day, the man was walking and eating again. The natives started referring to them as children of the sun, believing that they could raise the dead. Committing themselves to God, they took leave of the natives, who showed them the path toward another tribe nearby that spoke a similar language. Not long after, they saw 2 women and some boys walking in the woods. After some signs of peace, the natives came forward and led them to their dwellings, about 50 houses in all. Cabeza de Vaca describes some similar customs that all these tribes shared. When a woman became pregnant, her husband refrained from sleeping with her until 2 years after the child's birth. Children were nursed until the age of 12, since famine was so frequent. The mother's milk often kept them alive when food was scarce. If a person fell sick and could not travel, the tribes left them behind to die, except in the case of a son or a brother, whom they would carry on their back. Men without children changed wives freely, while those with families remained faithful. The natives kept constant watch when danger was near. All night they lay awake with bows beside them, creeping silently from their huts to study every sound and shadow. As the Spaniards moved on, they now had native followers believing in their miracles, and they started to see a troubling pattern. Each new tribe welcomed them kindly, but the natives that were with the Spaniards plundered their host homes, leaving nothing behind. The victims remarkably consoled them, saying their loss was worth it for the honor of seeing the children of the sun. When a native with an arrowhead lodged near his heart was brought to them, Cabeza de Vaca cut open his chest and removed it. The man recovered the next day without pain, and word of the miracle spread across the region, winning the healers even greater reverence. Their company sometimes grew to thousands, and the people refused to eat or drink until the 4 had blessed their food. The travelers crossed dry, rugged mountains and a deep river before reaching fertile plains, where the sick recovered and the people showed great obedience. They discovered settled villages with houses, beans, pumpkins, and maize, the first real signs of agriculture since Florida. They rejoiced and thanked God. In one town, the people gave Dorantes more than 600 deer hearts, and the Spaniards named it the Town of Hearts.